The Weeknd, Baptized in Fear, and Open Hearts. Let's talk about it.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. It's a good show today because we got a good show for you. We're talking about The Weeknd once again. Once again, we're covering The Weeknd probably all fucking weekend and all week. And guys, one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this album is that there's so many goddamn transitions. There's so many little moments of building up to songs. I really enjoy that, and we will go over that build up and everything when I do my album review, probably next week. I don't know. We'll see how everything goes. But today, guys, I'll break the immersion for you real quick. I was just going to have these two episodes. These are just going to be two separate episodes. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I was going to do two separate episodes because, I had two reviews written down. But these songs are basically a part one and part two. They transition like a part one and part two. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just combine these two and we're going to do the review just tonight. So guys, I guess technically you're getting three reviews tonight. So, hey, we're killing it right now. The Weeknd, Baptized in Fear / we're going to do Open Hearts. We're going to do that later in this review. And I thought about this. I was like, how are we going to do this review? I don't want to make this 20 minutes long because I will probably go to 20 minutes long if we do what we usually be doing. But I think we're just going to cover a couple of points, overall points of both songs, and then we'll just jump in and talk about the reviews that I have written down because I don't want this to be, 20 plus minutes long for y'all. Now, let's get into it, guys. Let's start off with Baptized in Fear.
Children's Dimetapp knows the sick day struggle is real. But it doesn't have to be. When sickness strikes, Children's Dimetapp works safely and quickly to relieve cough and other cold symptoms. And your kiddos won't run from its yuck-free sweet grape flavor. Trusted by parents for over 50 years. Children's Dimetapp, your stress-less sick day solution. Use as directed.
This episode is brought to you by Hyundai. Think you know what an electric vehicle should be? Think again. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N, Hyundai is redefining what EVs should be. Learn more about Hyundai EVs at HyundaiUSA.com. EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary.
First point, my starting point of how I'm overall feeling about this song. I really enjoy this track. Baptized in Fear was one of those tracks that I had no problem replaying. Had no problem replaying at all because Baptized in Fear, in my opinion, is such a good track. When we talk about vocal standpoint, when we talk about the beat, when we talk about everything here, I think Baptized in Fear is definitely a better, more song on its own package. The only thing it does have is that little transition, and then it goes to Open Hearts, which we will talk about later. But I will say Baptized Fear, if you want to just listen to, one of these songs, if you only had time for one of these songs, I would really, really, really recommend Baptized in Fear because Baptized in Fear feels the most complete, feels the most boom, and I really enjoy this track. The next point about Baptized in Fear that I also really enjoy too is I really, really enjoy the vocals. I really enjoy the vocal switch-ups. There's a lot of vocal switch-ups in this song. More than, I think, Cry For Me. And what do I mean by that? Well, The Weeknd is singing his ass off in this song. Baptized in Fear has so many little vocal switch-ups and so many moments where The Weeknd is just singing his goddamn ass off. I mean, God damn. It's like if I was at a car. If I was at a car dealer and I was trying to get a car and I just broke the window and I got that bitch and I left. I mean, there's just so much to this track and so much to this beginning that I just really enjoy the overall feeling. Now, we'll transition real quick to Open Hearts because I got a couple of points with that track too. Open Hearts I think the transition to Open Hearts is really nice. I like that transition. I like how we get to Open Hearts. I like the vocal switch up. And I also really like the hook. You know, I really enjoyed Baptized in Fear's hook, but I do think Open Hearts does have a more addicting hook, has a more grab on you, because I think this hook would definitely get stuck in your head a lot more. Now, let's going to go into my next point about Open Hearts, though, my overall point, which is I really wish there was a good second verse. I think that's what the song is missing, and I understand that there's a lot to this beat, there's a lot to this instrumental. It's like the Baptized in Fear beat, but it's brought up to 10 times. I understand that, I understand that. But when it's the only thing that's really the build-up, that it's the explosion, is that there's more synth, there's more like, you know, crazy synths and more of that. When it's just more of that and more of that explosion, I would have preferred maybe a more, you know, better second verse. But that's my overall gripe with Open Hearts, and that's what I feel like it's missing. So, let's jump in back to Baptized in Fear. We're going to go over this whole review. The Weeknd, Baptized in Fear. Let's start off talking about the beat. The beat is great. It's soft. The piano-like synths here are airy and soft. The drums hit. And overall, I really enjoy the production of Baptized in Fear. Again, I like these like airy synths. I like this like piano. I like this like faded violins that are kind of in the back, that are kind of, you know, and when we get into the song, you know, that's when these synths get a little bit more pronounced, and I like that. I really enjoyed the beat. I like the beat. I prefer Baptized in Fear's production more than Open Hearts for sure, just because, you know, I'm not really into that 80s kind of synth feel to it. Not anymore. There definitely was a time for it. There definitely was a moment where that shit was hitting. But I definitely prefer a more Baptized in Fear sound. But let's go into my next point, which is the beginning verse. The beginning verse is great. The vocals are top notch. I like how they get deeper and louder as the song goes on. Like I said, there's moments where these vocals kind of switch up, and you know, you have moments where the Weeknd is just kind of singing his ass off. It's like it's really like if I was, you know, peeling an apple. You know, peeling this apple, a high quality, good apple, has so many layers to it, has so much love into it. As you keep peeling it, you keep revealing the soft, airy, white flesh that tastes absolutely really fucking good. I really enjoy the beginning verse. It's good. And I would say the hook is a great payoff. The vocals are like heaven here. The hook is addicting, and it'll easily get stuck in your head, and definitely hits. So, you know, when we're scoring this track, I think this track is definitely more of a 7. This is more of an 8, I would say. This would be more of an 8, but I do think the transition to Open Hearts does kind of, you know, lessen Baptized in Fear for sure. Especially at the end here, it just kind of cuts off. So, this is overall a really good track. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, let's move on to Open Hearts real quick. Let's talk about Open Hearts. The beat. This is where the beat is pretty good. You know, the synths fully kick in. That bouncy 80s style drums come crashing in. It's definitely a nice callback, especially, you know, when the instrumental is building even more and those violins and those dark synths start raging in too. Overall, I really enjoy Open Hearts' production. I like the sound of it. Is it something that I'm going to play on my own? That I'm going to play on my own time? Probably not, because like I said, that 80s kind of synth production, it hits. It doesn't really hit these days. I'm kind of tired of it. The opening verse is definitely okay. It's more of the same in the last song. I do enjoy the vocal switch up, and the vocals are more deeper, and they do sound pretty nice. But again, I definitely think it's just okay. The hook, I do think though, even though the beginning verse is just okay, I do really enjoy the hook. It's really good. The vocals really hit here. The second verse is nothing to write home about. It's more the same. You're just kind of waiting for that second, edition of the hook, because the second edition of the hook, the Weeknd singing his goddamn ass off. So, when we talk about Open Hearts, I think Open Hearts is definitely one of those tracks that is missing something. I would say that. It's missing something. It's missing something from definitely going up above from an 8 out of 10. So, this one we're definitely going to have to give a 7 out of 10 too, because, this one feels even more incomplete. Baptized in Fear feels fully complete. I just don't like that ending cutoff. But Open Hearts definitely needed some more time to cook. Maybe a better second verse. Something like that. Guys, this is a little bit of a double review to cap off Saturday night. But guys, what y'all think about these tracks? Did you hate them? Did you love them? I don't know. Let me know. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications. I'll be back Sunday night with 2 new episodes, so get ready for that. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.